Another short shot.
What's up again, guys? Coming to you live from the Beat Junkie Institute of Sound. It's the Beat Junkies building better DJs. What's up, y'all? Babu.
Rhettmatic. Melo-D.
Mr. Choc.
Yep, and today's episode, we are talking DJ fails, guys.
Ooh, yeah.
DJ fails. Now we're talking DJ fails. Obviously, we wouldn't be fair to just talk about other DJs' fails.
Talk about our own.
We're going to talk about our own. And we're going to talk about other people's fails that we've seen and maybe experienced, guys. But who wants to set it off? Who wants to talk about some DJ fails here?
Yeah, who?
I mean, I definitely have a few. Probably more like several.
I have too many fails, personally. I'm trying to think of the best ones that have, like, a little more story to it. But who's setting it off here?
Right. I'll start it off.
Choc.
I started DJing in when I was 15 years old, 1985. And during that time when I started, bragging around to the school, everyone, I was a DJ, I know how to DJ, blah, 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 blah. I hadn't really started doing gigs yet at that time. So fast forward to like my senior year, I was 18 years old. We're doing a talent show. And I'm with some of my friends I was growing up with at the time, and they were rappers, and I was the DJ. So we had practiced the show and everything. And when we got to the show, the actual talent show, there was a different mixer than what I was used to. So for the song that we had made up, every time the chorus came up, I was doing like a big scratch part on the song. And we practiced that, we rehearsed it, we were ready to go. So during the show, I wasn't familiar with the mixer, and every time my part came up during the song, I was scratching, but no sound was coming out. And come to find out, the sound guy came over later on during the show, in the middle of the show, and hits the phono line switch. So the whole time I was scratching, nobody heard me, but because I had the phono line switch, I didn't have the phono on, I had the line on.
Right.
So I was scratching and scratching. Yeah, crimson crossfade. I'm getting busy making faces, and like one of the rappers during the show, they came over, man, what's up, man? We can't hear you on the microphone in front of the whole school. We can't hear you, man. What's up with the DJ and scratching? Come on, man. And I'm sitting up there like just doing it, sweating, just losing my mind, man. But yeah, all it was just a phono line switch, man. So
But you thought the whole time like everybody could hear you.
I thought I was getting busy. I thought I was killing it.
Did you have
You
your
look good.
headphones
You
on
look
or
good.
anything?
Yeah, it looked great, but no,
I mean, Choc,
it wasn't sounding great at all.
Did you
DJ
have your headphones though? You didn't hear the cueing or anything like that?
No, man, come on, man. It's my first performance in front of my friends, the other students, my classmates and stuff. No, I wasn't listening to anything. I thought I was just getting busy and phono line switch. Fail. Big fail.
That's rough. Yeah,
So rough, so tough.
Oh,
Who else? Step up.
Well, I guess I'll tell mine.
Speak up, Rhett.
Mine's pretty. Might kind of incriminate all of us a little bit, but mine's pretty big in terms of like there was the 1994 DMC West Coast.
Incriminating, he said.
Yes, because we all drove up to the Bay Area, and actually we were practicing at D Styles. You want to come and jump in this? Later. He goes later. So basically, it was like Mello, Babs. I think Short was there. Who else? Ruthless. I think Chris was there. Chops. Rest in peace. I forget who else was. It was quite a few of us. I think Big Kid Drew was there too. So we're all practicing, and then basically we were all getting enhanced.
Good way of putting it.
Yeah, So and D got a birthday gift from Ruthless and shared this big enhancer. And I used to taking in little small enhancements.
Small enhancements.
Yes. For instance, but for whatever reason, it's like, okay, I'm gonna take a.
You went aggressive.
Yes, I went aggressive. And
So you partook in being enhanced.
Enhanced, basically, and of course, we're all practicing. DMC was the next night. It was the night before.
The next night, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, Yes. And next thing I know, I started getting the spins.
Caught the spins.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you remember this, Babs, because we were all sitting on D's bed.
I remember.
Right. And I just started going, "Hey, Babs, is it
No, you actually called him by his legal name.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, you?
I remember you were so enhanced, Rhett,
Uh-huh.
that you thought you were just talking to me, but the whole room was listening to us the whole time.
Wow.
You're like, bro, everything's spinning. I remember that.
Yeah. Because I remember I was just talking to you, but at least that's what I remember.
You OE'd
IOE.
over enhanced.
Over enhanced.
Over-enhanced. Oh,
So wait, Rhett. We have to let the people know what is the fail part of this, because it sounds good so far. Actually, there's nothing bad about it yet.
I mean,
What's the fail part of this story?
all I know is that I started just, I blacked out. I don't remember pretty much from there. I mean, I know you guys will fill it in. I mean, you guys pretty much told me after the fact, but all I remember is just waking up the next night or next day, and you guys are waking me up. Hey, Rhett, it's time to go to the battle. I didn't get to practice at all. I didn't get to practice my routine, and all I remember is just like they called my name up. Obviously, I mean, I didn't even make. I just blanked out. Basically, so that was just like the biggest fail ever. I mean, of course, this is when you and Short won first place, you won second place, and you guys went to New York and stuff. But in Melo, you were in it too.
Yeah.
I think who else was in it? I think Disc was in it.
Everybody.
Disc,
Quest,
J-Rock.
But yeah, Jay. Yeah, wait, Jay. What Jay wasn't?
Pam the Functress, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pam the Functress.
Positively red.
Positively red.
Yeah, Positive Red. D, were you in it? No. Okay.
a bunch of
He was just
people.
hanging. Yeah, but all I just remember is just like everybody got to practice except me. That was my biggest fail.
It's okay, because you came back 2 years later and won the West Coast, man. You know what I'm
but-
saying? You came correct. But a lesson learned,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
never over enhance
Never.
before a battle.
Ever.
Ever.
You know?
Because that you guys put that on me on the rule when we're defending our ITF World Championship. That's another fail right there. Almost a fail. It was kind of a fail, but it was.
It wasn't in Amsterdam, the second one, so
Right,
it took a
right.
lot of restraint for you to not be over enhanced.
Oh yeah. So, anyways, that was my.
Come a long way, man.
Road to recovery.
Thanks, guys.
Dude, you enhance better than ever these days.
Oh man, thanks.
That wasn't too bad though. That wasn't too
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. Could happen to
Kind
anybody.
of. That was
I
like
don't
a light to medium fail.
Yeah. Mid-scale.
Mello, hit
Mid-scale.
us with a fail, Mel.
Man, I have so many fellas.
Oh, I can't
But
wait.
there's definitely a few
Get my popcorn
that
now.
are at the top of the list. All right, so this is 2006. I just got my first Vegas residency at Body English at the Hard Rock.
Sick.
So, I'm, Cloud 9. I'm out in Vegas, like hottest nightclub in the city.
Sick.
Things are going great. I'm like 4 or 5 months in. Paris Hilton's birthday comes around.
Ooh.
And again, this is the hottest nightclub at the time, so she wants to have her birthday party at Body English.
Duh.
Of course she does.
Mello, will you DJ Paris Hilton's birthday for us Saturday night? A-listers, Yeah, of course. Great.
Love to.
Goes great. I have a phenomenal set. Everybody loves it. Ludacris is in the house. He gets so pumped. He jumps on. I'm rocking for him.
Sick.
Managers, everyone's coming over, giving me drinks, high-fiving me, talking about me to their fellow executives. And there's a couple other people from other nightclubs in town. So anyhow, this party goes very, very well, right? The promoter that hired me, his name is Jack LaFleur. From that Saturday to the following Saturday, that party was basically the talk of the town, right? It was a huge deal. Like, wow, it was like the party of the weekend, right? And this kid Mello from Los Angeles, he DJs his party. So now everybody from basically like Vegas nightlife is coming to check me out the following Saturday, right? And so I'm fresh off of a really great night, right? So again, this is 2006, so this is like Scratch Live, right? Scratch Live era, I think, at the time.
Scratch Live.
So I don't remember exactly what the function was, but maybe you guys can help me out. There was a function on one of the original versions of Scratch Live where it was like a loop scroller or something of that sort, to where if you typed in some kind of, by accident or on purpose, some type of keyboard shortcut, it would kick your vinyl into like some sort of loop scrolling mode. So where you picked up like the needle and you could scroll through something to that effect.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah,
this is a
yeah.
while back.
Keyboards
So
or loops?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was.
I remember Jay used to do that. Instead of cue points, he'd pick up the.
I didn't know this at the time, so I'm just DJing, right? And again, this is everyone's in town. You know what I mean? Everyone from locally is there to watch me DJ. They're hearing this and that about me, and there's I'm in the local magazines, and I'm hugged up with Paris and whatever.
Pain's already creeping.
So again, this is 2006. So this is like I know you DJ a lot of these clubs, Choc. So this is like a Fat Man Scoop, kind of Little John. Kind of party chant, acapella. So I had a couple mixes where I would grab these acapella tools, and I would start with an acapella, like some kind of loop, some kind of Fat Man, like $50 bill, put your hands up, right? And then I would drop in a song underneath it.
Yeah.
So I had this mix. Fat Man Scoop had this loop. Who fucking tonight? Who fucking tonight? Who fucking tonight? And I used to drop in. Ain't No Fun, right? And like, I get hype and like whatever. Beat drops and whatever. So I go to set up this loop. I load the loop and I did something on the keyboard to where I disabled the ability to load tracks or do anything from the keyboard. So there's 3 minutes. Who fucking tonight? Who fucking tonight? Who fucking tonight? Who fucking tonight?
Man, that's the longest 3.
Dude, and I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't load the song. I couldn't eject the scoop.
Oh my god.
You can't even manually can't even.
Nothing. Luckily, the homie Dig Dug was there. He runs in 2 minutes into this. It felt like a good 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, it felt like an eternity. It was just awkward energy. Like, everyone just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, the managers are coming in. Is everything all right? Dig Dug like rushes past everybody. I'm like, dude, what's going on? And he figures it out. Like, he's the one that told me like whatever the loop scroll mode. He fixes it for me. I probably didn't recover from that moment that night. And it just basically deflated this crazy dope set for this epic birthday party for Paris Hilton I had just done the week before.
Probably
just like that. Like
probably the first 30 seconds when you had the Fat Man
like
Scoop on.
5 steps forward, 18 steps back.
Oh man.
It was a pretty big fucking fail.
I would love to like we should have that animated and reenacted like the animation.
It's painful enough reliving.
At first it's like Mel's like, you? Oh,
Yeah, the first 30 seconds, everyone's with them, like, yeah, rocking with them. And then all of a sudden, a minute goes by, like, okay, what's going on here? It's okay, Melo.
That was
Made it through it.
that's epic, man.
That was a heavy one, man.
That's hilarious. I'm sorry. It's just hilarious. Like, who's fucking denying? I can just imagine that shit. Dude.
You never really shared that story with us. No,
You blame me?
I don't know.
Yeah. So that was pretty embarrassing.
Man. That's classic.
So I would say to all the DJs out there, like, just when you're loading any type of tool, or just take your time. Like, don't be
Watch it out. You're touching
Make
the
sure,
key.
be careful. You're hitting the right
Watch out.
keys and loading the right tracks.
I think it's safe to say across the board, guys. I mean, I don't want to talk about every single one of my fails, like you said, Melo. I could just like I've had you name it, especially when it comes to starting to integrate all this technology. I've had the laptop die. I didn't have the right driver. I mean, you think of I've made all the fails, the mistakes that we teach our students not to make.
Try and avoid, yeah.
But one of my all-star mistakes, one of my all-star fails is was actually it might have been the first or second time I DJ'd for Dilated. I DJ'd for Evan Rock for the first time, and so I was super excited and I was super hype. We even they came to Fat Beats. I was still working at Fat Beats at the time, so we would just rehearse at Fat Beats after hours, after we closed. Plug in mics to the mixer, and we would work out our sets. We had this whole set, and at the time, this is how early it was. We didn't have any albums out. We just had. All we literally had was just our 12 inches. Yeah. So I think at that time we only had 2 12 inches out. So Third Degree, Confidence, Global Dynamics, and then the Work the Angles 12 inch with Third Degree.
Was that Reservation for One or no?
No.
That was there was 3 joints on that 12 inch. Yeah.
It's the Main Event and Triple Optics.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
This
I'm
early
so old.
ABB, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we literally had 2 12 inches. So we only had 6 songs six songs to actually perform. So, we had to jazz up our set a little bit. There were moments where we used some other artist music, or I'd switch the beats up. I had my DJ solo. So after it all was all said and done, cool, we got a cool little 30-minute set here or whatever, So all excited, we all prepared. So we had this one part. And, all I had to do was okay, we're going to do Third Degree, and Tafari's coming out. We're like, oh, sick. Tafari's coming sick. And this is all hot on. This is like when we're on Soul Assassins, guys. I was playing Third Degree like every Friday night. You guys are probably playing it at Power on Friday Night Flavors, and so I can't remember the show was, but it was a big deal for me, at least at the time. And set's going well. Here comes Third Degree, and we have this awesome idea. Oh, when Tafari's verse comes up, y'all, because he had the other ABB 12-inch Bionic.
Right.
So we're like, be sick, Babs, if you mixed in, you threw in Bionic. And then he'll do his verse of Bionic. And then we'll go back to Third Degree for Rocka's verse. Sick.
Right.
Time comes to the show, I'm ready, I'm going. Mind you, this is the first show. Now I'm already nervous as fuck. I'm already like, just you got one job. You got one job, Babs.
You got it.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you guys rehearse, you practice, you build
I'm
the
ready.
set.
You know me. I practice my ass off. I have my records laid out in order exactly the way they're supposed to be. Tafari comes up. It's like with 1, 2, 3 MCs. Now it's our turn to burn. And Tafari stepping on stage. You hear his voice. The crowd's getting hyped. Like, oh shit! And that drop in the beginning. You guys remember how the beginning of Bionic? Boom, 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 boom. That beat comes in. He starts kicking his verse. Crowd's going nuts. And then his verse comes in on the record. I put on
the vocal version.
I put on the vocal version.
Damn. Lip syncing.
Yeah. Man, I got like the dirtiest looks from Tafari and Ev and Rock. I think I might low key have may have almost like lost the job right there. That could have been like a.
So you basically played the wrong side, right?
I played the wrong groove. I played the vocal instead of the instrumental, like a fucking idiot. Just being in the moment,
Excited.
being dumb and just not being mindful, just nerves, whatever. And I just started hitting a lot of mutes. And I just, and then we went back to Third Degree, but that was one of my early big fails. That one hurt.
Yeah, that hurts.
That one was.
I feel for you on that one.
Pretty painful.
I empathize with you there. Yeah,
Man.
It's crazy how something so subtle as, like you said, dropping it on the wrong groove, you can just throw things so out of whack, right? Like something real little, it just can just create the hugest disasters ever.
And you know how these new kids have these sayings. The one that applies is then this one is you had one job is how I feel about that fail right there. You had one job. All you had to do was play us a couple beats, play us a couple instrumentals, man, and just sit back there. We're not even asking you to wave your hand or say ho. Just play a record to make sure it don't skip, But it's part of being a DJ for a rap group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apart from major fails like that, have you guys ever had these nights where, I don't know if this qualifies as a fail, but I've definitely had nights like this. I guess you would call it we call it an off night. It's nothing major that happens, but for some reason, maybe you're just not connecting with the crowd through your music. You're not bombing, but you're not killing it. You're not crushing, right? And even maybe your mixes are just a little bit off. I've little things that come to mind. So traditionally we all blend for 8 bars, right? It's kind of like the West Coast style. We bring in the instrumental, write that for 8 bars. Or let's say, for example, I know I've done this a few times where you have one of those intro versions, right? Where it's an 8-bar intro, but maybe instead of running it for the 8 bars, somehow I end up dropping it on running it for 7 bars, and I get this vocal clash for the last bar, and the mix just comes in all nasty. It's not really a fail, but it's just I guess it kind of is.
I've had a few nights like that for sure.
Stuff like that.
Categorizes as a light fail.
Light fail.
Light fail, light to medium.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
What about when you're DJing and dirt gets on your needle and your needle slides across the record, and then it goes to internal mode, and then it goes super slow mode, and then you got to get on the mouse, pull it back down to regular speed, and then clean off the needle, put it back on the record, and then put it back on relative mode or whatever mode you're in, absolute or whatever.
It's at least happened to me at least three to four times. That more often than most average DJs. It's happened to me very often.
Yeah. And you know what sucks about that? Those are things that I personally think that in terms of technically, yeah, sure, I guess that could have been prevented if we just clean the needle or whatever every few songs or even before we start DJing. So kind of like to point the finger at technology when stuff like that happens. But I think, the thing that sucks is that to the audience, those are perceived as fails.
For sure.
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? They look up at you and or like,
Yeah.
you know, I've done stuff like, I remember first getting on Serato where I loaded the song on the wrong deck.
Always.
Oh,
yeah.
I call
stuff
that
like
drunk. I call that drunk selection.
So, there you go. Damn, that
guilty
makes it
of
even
that
worse because I was sober.
Oh, damn, sorry, bro.
But like little stuff like that, like just, you know what I mean?
I've
Those
done
are
that.
definitely perceived fails, right?
For
Like
sure.
you get like hard looks from the
Scold me.
audience and
Yeah. Scold me for those.
stuff like that.
Well, I think the biggest thing too with fails, and we're talking in terms of actually when you're DJing, is, you know, forward motion, as Choc always says. First of all, in fact, I'll take it one further. As soon as I fuck up, I look at the sound man like, "Yo, what the fuck, man?"
Right.
I look anywhere but like act like I messed up.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, I'll look at the crowd, be like, "Dude, this guy like, keeps fucking," you know.
My sound.
You know, just to always push forward. And I know sometimes fails are so hard that there's nothing you can do but just like take
Just push
the L and, you know, hopefully you learn a lesson and next time it's not as bad or better. Hopefully you learn some sort of lesson. But you
Always a
know,
lesson to
more
that.
fails. Rhett, I gotta tell. I have a story.
You always do.
This is. It's a fail, but I think it's a cool fail,
I
Rhett.
don't know, man. You always have these
This is a
stories about
cool fail.
Let
This
me
is
hear
a
it.
cool.
Let's
This
hear
is
it. All right.
this is also a tour story, which I love so much. We were on the
Wait.
Word of Mouth tour with Jurassic 5 and
Oh.
Dilated and Supernat, Beat Junkies.
I don't
So
know, there's so many.
I love this because no, seriously, Rhett, this is so dope. So every night on tour, I don't know. I think Evidence had been stage diving. You know, Ev would get the crowd wild during the end of our sets during Work the Angles. You know, Ev would go on stage dive, and I don't know, Rhett started like getting pumped about it, you know, and I think him and Ev started talking, and Ev like started like enticing Rhett to stage dive. I think. Am I? Where did it come from, Rhett?
Well, basically, this is what Short. You know, Short was on this.
Short
this
was
ride.
with us.
Short was always talking about like, yo, let's man. We gotta
So
do
Short was
something.
pumping you up to stage.
No, because
dive.
we were talking about let's go stage dive. It's supposed to be both Short and myself to stage dive, right?
Okay, I didn't know
So
this.
if I remember correctly, Washington D.C., right? So and not Lalo,
Francisco.
he was actually kind of like telling us how to. Okay, this is how you stage dive, and Short was like yeah, we're gonna do it, and it's like let's do it. He kind of chickened out the last minute, right? And I was like, come on, dude. So he goes, look, I'll pay you. And it's like, you'll pay me the stage. I was like, yeah, all right, give me the money right now. So he paid me like I think around like $50 to $100, one of the two. It's like
To stage dive?
stage dive.
Okay.
So he posted the money. He posted.
Yeah, it's like I won't do it until you give the money, dude. Right? So he gave me the money. He said, all right. And so I can't back out now. And he's like, you know, Short's like, oh yeah, go. So I'm
Hyping you up.
Yeah, I'm pacing left and right and backstage and the side, and basically like Francis goes, okay, this is how you do it. You're supposed to run out there sideways and then come out, you know, then turn around and turn your back. So I kind of remember this to Babs because it was during your like you guys were ending work the angles. Obviously, Work the Angle was the big song. You were like, I work the angles, and you were scratching. And then, you know, you hear Rock and Ev, I work the angle, sharp and precise, dilated, and you hear listen, oh! Because that's when I ran out. Francisco told me to start running now. I ran and went for the stage dive. And ever since then, I guess, because even you were scratching, and correct me if I'm wrong, Babs, because you were scratching, and you even, the needle skipped because you were just too shocked.
Yeah. So that became a nightly thing on tour from that point. So you guys have to understand, this is maybe like, I don't know, not even halfway through tour. So every night now it becomes a ritual. Ev's not even stage diving anymore. It's like,
It's Rhett.
Dilated people act like you know. No, but right now. Then Ev Rock like, Rhettmatic! And then Rhett would just on cue just start run out with that same at the very end of the song when I start scratching. Here comes Rhett barreling out. Boom. He formed perfect at this point.
Okay.
You know,
Oh, no,
this is several weeks. Like this is
already know- I
wasn't on this
2-3
tour, but I already
know
weeks
this
of this going on.
Right.
I mean, at this
Yeah,
point,
I was
at
on
this
this
point,
tour.
Rhett's got like, you know, he's got like a technique now. Like he has a little finesse with it. Looks sick. He's like, it's like, damn, dude. Like, crowd puts him back on stage. It's
I know
like,
exactly
oh,
where you're
shit.
going.
Like it becomes like I can, you know, Rhett's like, you know, every night you can see him just like get in the zone real quick. better build twice. Perfectly just crowd brings it back on stage.
I already know where you're going with this, Bash.
And I almost think this is the last night of tour.
It was.
This was like the last
It was actually-
one.
it was
You know,
actually-
Rhett's like, this is the last. You know, we're all like, dude, last stage time, Rhett. Go out big, go out big. This is gonna be shit. I can't
already
believe
know.
you've been doing this. It's so sick, dude.
already know we
This dude goes for it. You have to imagine, I'm on the deck, so I always see what's going on every night. I have like, he's like, it's happening like dead center in front of me. I see if Rhett has a good stage dive or not. And I've been tracking the movement. I'm like, dude, he's sick with it now, dude. I'm like, shit, oh my God, that one night you jumped over the monitor. I mean, it was like to the point, like, you know, every night I'm like, oh, you know, like it became a big deal. Like, so this is the last epic one, last chorus of the jam, and last set. Rhett's going slow-mo. Rhett's going, looks great. Perfect release off the stage. He goes, he's twisting, he's falling back. But then as you look, the crowd clears. And this is the night one of our biggest dilated fans, who happens to be disabled, was in the front row in a wheelchair, really enjoying the show.
Oh no.
Till he was impacted by DJ Rhettmatic.
And this is a much heavier Rhett,
Yeah, this
right?
wasn't
Back
the
in
lean
days.
specimen that he is now.
This is
Not at all.
pre-jiu-jitsu Rhettmatic. This is Booty Kid. Wow.
It's pretty legendary, man. Yeah. Oh my God. I don't really remember what happened after that, other than just like I was like dying. It was just like, ow, oh, just like the I don't know, it was a weird ending to the show. But you know,
Wow.
Rhett was okay, the kid was okay, thank God. I think we
Hey,
gave him
whoever you are-
we all gave him some merch and stuff, and we're like, sorry, man. you know,
I got to say sorry to your biggest dilated fan.
that was amazing. man.
I try not to remember that.
A flying Rhettmatic. What do you do
But
when
do
you
you
see
see
a
what-
flying Rhettmatic coming at you? What do
It
you
was
do?
a cool fail, though. You see what I'm saying when I say it was a cool fail?
Right,
That's a fail I'm proud of. Like, that was,
Oh, you're
was
proud
epic.
of.
that Rhett should be proud of. Yeah,
Oh my God.
that was amazing shit.
Oh, man.
All right, so
I'm
moving
gonna
around the
do that
table, I know
story.
we got a few more fails here to like share. I know someone else has some more fails.
I definitely have another acapella related fail.
Yes.
I don't know why. Like, my biggest fails are acapella fails. This one is equally as terrible, right? And this actually, this ended on a bad note. So the last one. So anyhow, so this is 2013. I've been working independently, and 2013 I joined up with Scam Artist agency out here in Los Angeles, and Sujit, he had a pretty good stronghold on all the rooms in Vegas. So me being kind of like a new DJ to the roster, he's kind of putting me in like basically all the different mega clubs in Vegas, trying to find me a home, kind of like, you know, get me a new residency. So one of the rooms I played in at the time was the newest. I don't even know if it's still out there. It's called Hyde. It's at the Bellagio. It had just opened up that January, so this is probably spring or whatever. And so again, going back to my, you know, acapella tools, I had this other one that I used. So this is like, you know, trap music, you know, down tempo hip hop's kind of like, you know, the flavor to be playing like in the nightclubs. So, you know, that's 60 to 70 BPM range. So I had this acapella. I think it's by the Kryptonite All Stars. You guys remember the song? It's
Yeah, of
I'll be all day.
Hell yeah.
Find me in the A.
Yeah.
So I used to loop the A. Same thing. Just throw a beat, you know, whatever the hot track was, Paris, Jay-Z, Kanye, whatever, and just like drop the beat and crowd gets hype, right? So same thing. I load this, and this happens 3 times throughout the course of the set, and I'm headlining, right? So midnight to 3, whatever. First time it happens, I load the acapella, and for everybody out there, there's keyboard shortcuts to disable and able your loops, right? It's just one key that you hit. So I load the track up, I start playing it, I bring it in acapella, and the first cue point was the 1 key, right? I was using the first cue point, hit the 1 key, drop the acapella, just the acapella's playing. I go to enable the loop, it's not doing anything. You know, when the loop's active, you can see it like it turns green or whatever.
Blue.
It's not doing anything. So the A comes and goes, right? The dude starts rapping. The whole first verse just goes. And I'm just like, what the fuck? What's going on? Like, nothing's working on the keyboard. Nothing, right? So luckily the sound guy's there. He has like a backup CDJ where he can just play. I was like, man, can you just kick something? Like, I don't know what's going on. And I just got a new laptop. So I'm like, my computer's like 2 months old, right? And so I'm like, is this my laptop a lemon? Like, what's going on? So I just, whatever. He plays a CD. I restart my computer. I start DJing again, whatever. This happens 2 more times with the same acapella. Because I used to use this a lot. Like,
Right.
you know, and like if there was whatever, 2 or 3 records that were hot, I would use it just to kind of like, you know, enhance the song, whatever, you know. This happens 3 times. Finally, that 3rd time, I was just like, dude, I don't know what's going on. And I just gave up on the night. I basically, like, there was a bridal party, Indian people, and they came up and they were asking me for Indian music all night. And I was so frustrated. She was like, I have songs on my phone. I'm like, you know what? Just go ahead and plug your phone in. I basically like this. And don't ever do this. This was completely unprofessional of me.
Yeah, very
I basically like left her in charge of the DJ booth. Just total stranger, drunk Indian girl out there celebrating her homegirl's birthday. I just left her in charge. And so, of course, Suja gets the email from the management like the next day, you know, this kid just like whatever. So I wrecked myself. Like, I'll never work over there again, right? So fast forward to, I don't know, maybe like a couple months later, there was this other club out here called Playhouse in Hollywood. So we're doing like a scam takeover night. So it's like me, Homicide, Gusto, and a couple of maybe Eric Deluxe, a couple other guys, like West Coast guys in the scam. So everybody plays like whatever, 45-minute set. So I do my set, Homicide goes on after me, and I'm just happen to be standing behind him while he's DJing. And so the same thing happens to him. Same thing. And he says, I hate when that happens. And I'm like thinking already, damn, I think this is the same thing that happened to me. So what happened was at the time, and I don't know if this is still part of the Serato software, but that little key with that special character, it's like that really thin flat key right above the 1 key, has like kind of that wavy cursor.
Yeah.
Back in 2013, Serato had a function built in. If you hit that key, it basically disables your keyboard. Why? So he says, I hate when that happens. He's like, dog, shout out to Homicide. You hit this key, it kills your whole shit. And I'm like, damn, that's exactly what happened to me, because I went to hit the 1 key and I must have hit that button by mistake. Disabled my whole keyboard. But yeah, that was a pretty big fail, because like the 3rd time around, like the sound man's like looking at me like, dude, you're really fucking up right now. Like, 'cause I had to basically, the 3 times that it happened, I had to like tap him to like, man, I don't know what's going on with my computer, man. Like, can you play something? And so, yeah, that was pretty bad, because I obviously let the frustration get to me. I acted totally irresponsible. You should never do that. I mean, like, who does that? You know what I mean? And basically like ruined my chances of ever, you know, DJing over there again. And that was like the hot new club at the time, and Suja was doing me a solid, putting me in the room, getting me the headlining spot, and I just fucking wrecked it. I just blew it, fellas. Like, so
Who fucking tonight? Who fucking tonight? Who fucking tonight?
that was
the best
yeah. So disrespectful.
Acapella fails. They're the best.
Man,
Choc, you got another one on deck?
man. Wait, cut for a second.
Yeah.
Unplug my headphones. All right, so my fail. Let's see. I think it was like 1996. I just started being managed by Bigga B, rest in peace, who was one of the guys who ran Unity, and he had me and C Minus like become resident DJs along with Mark Love there. We had a very big act. I don't want to say who the act was, but it was somebody that was very anticipated out here in Los Angeles, who had a big single at the time, and they had a fail for that show also too, which was that's why I don't want to name who the person is, because I still have a lot of respect for them. Salute to them. But myself, I was DJing, and I had went and got very, very enhanced with some friends, and I had been working on this juggle routine that I thought was just so fresh to death at the time. I think I was using Eric B as president, and I thought I would really had it locked in. So I start performing before this rapper starts performing, and I start doing this juggle, and I'm thinking I'm going off. Mind you, I'm really super enhanced, and I'm just going off. I'm thinking I'm doing everything fresh. I'm doing a couple body tricks in there, boom, 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 boom. Again, this is Unity, so I'm thinking that it's going to be received well and everything, and I stop and I hit the stop button. I look up, and nobody did anything.
Damn. Awkward.
Nothing at all. They were just like, they didn't know if I was performing because I didn't announce myself or anything like that. I just went into this routine and thinking that it was going to be fresh before this artist came on, and nobody did nothing. And I was just like, all right. And I just slid off to the side, man. And then the artist came on, and then they ended up bombing because they ended up forgetting all their lyrics. So if you live in Los Angeles, you probably know exactly who I'm talking about. But they forgot every lyric to every song that they knew, and that they did. And yeah, it was just a bad night. I remember just sitting around with Mark Love and Chase Infinite and everybody in C minus, and we just talked about how much of a fail that night was, and Unity that night. And but yeah, rest in peace to Bigger B. And that was definitely a big DJ fail for myself, and also just made me realize that not to be enhanced like that again before I performed, because I thought I was fresh, but the crowd let me know I was not.
You weren't doing
at all.
it. Yep.
No enhancements.
I don't think we should blame it on the enhancement so much, man. I think you just needed to be more responsible, man. Don't blame it on the enhancement. Innocent enhancement. Both you guys. But yeah, I'm just kidding. You guys are right. You got to be in control.
Yeah, you got to
remember,
you gotta be professional at all times.
Try to your best to be professional. We're all human, but one last fail that I want to talk about. This is probably one of my most epic fails. It's another dilated fail, of course. Sorry, Rock. But this is a great one. So this is during our Neighborhood Watch album. So, we had this song with Kanye West. It was kind of a big deal, So we had a video, and we were all over BET, 106 in Park every day. We're on the countdown. It was like really exciting time for us. So, not only making the song with Kanye was like an amazing experience. He ends up bringing us out on tour with him. And it's about the same time as our album too. So it makes perfect sense. Like, he's dropping his record, and he produced a record for us. So it was awesome. That meant every night he would like jump on before his show at the end of our show and do This Way with us. Mm-hmm. So it was very cool. It was very like a really cool gesture for him to do that. He never had to do that. And so we had pretty much did a majority of the tour, and we finally hit the leg of the tour where we're back in LA. And it's like, not only is it like the big tours in town, but it's also like kind of like low key our album release party, because we timed it so that we'd be on the tour with Kanye this whole time right before the album dropped, and we get to LA and our album drops. Yeah. And we're at the House of Blues, so all our friends, all our family, I mean, I've invited my my brother and his family were there, and cousins, and just all the homies were there. It was amazing. It was really dope. So I remember it was really cool just seeing so many people. The whole House of Blues was just packed. So we opened. We're always early, and we did our thing. Had a great set, and it was awesome. And then usually, what we figured out on tour was it was better if we stopped doing This Way at the end of our set, because no one's even at the venue yet. So I don't know how we worked it out, but Kanye and his people were cool enough that he started bringing us up during his set.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah.
So he would do it like maybe in the first 10 or 15 minutes of his set. He loved it because he was also hype on producing it, and he had a verse on there that he loved, and so he would bring up and rocking me up there like 10 minutes into his set, and we'd knock out that song. So we're here in LA, we wrap it, we kill our set, and sick. I go, House of Blues in LA, if you guys remember, the stage is like on the bottom level because the venue's on a hill. Mm-hmm. So, I walked all the way up 3 levels, and I'm like in the party area with all the homies, and we're chilling and just feeling great, drinks, enhancement, everything's going great. I'm in the corner, I'm talking to E Swift, E Swift and the Alcoholics, and we're just getting caught up in some conversation, just DJ shit, and all of a sudden, and I'm just having the greatest time.
Oh no, I
remember this.
All of a sudden, Lalo, my longtime tour manager, shouts out to Lalo. He pops up out of nowhere out of the door. Babs, they're doing This Way. And I'm like, what? I just did not even realize how much time had passed. Dude, I bolt down the fucking stairs, like 3 flights of stairs. I'm on the sidewalk level, so I had to just ran up to the stairs. And imagine this, guys. The whole packed as fuck House of Blues. Mm-hmm. Kanye West set. Ev is on my setup on the instant replay, going through every single track allowed at the House of Blues. Watch your eardrums pop. Watch your just hitting all, just losing his shit. Fuck, where the fuck is This Way? Where the fuck is Babu? Where the fuck is Babu? Just
like, what the hell?
losing his shit, so fucking pissed at me, dude. And I just ran up there and I'm like, hi. Turn it up. And we just jumped right into the song. But they were both really pissed at me, as they should have been after. But it's pretty funny 20 years later. Thinking about it, dude. Like,
That's a fail.
I wish I actually had the front view of Ev having to, like, just trying to find the jam. And it's like, fuck Babu, man. Fuck him. I'm just going to play this shit. Fuck this shit. Just every single one of our show songs. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, an instant replay. But it's like, for our listeners out there, it's like a, you know, that was the standard music player that rap groups would use at the time. Just to, you know, couldn't go off vinyl because you might skip or, you know, God knows what sounds shitty. So it's like a radio broadcasting sampler that you could just put 24 hours of memory and put just songs on each bank.
Yeah.
So Ed was just hitting every single one of our show tunes. Just going through it aloud in front of the whole crowd. It was just the most funny, awkward. And I don't know how long I had let that shit last. Because I remember, like, Kanye used to bring us out like, oh yeah, I want to bring out some homies of mine. And so I should have already been on stage.
Right.
I was already usually on decks.
Right.
And then, for some reason, Kanye usually would, like, you know, see me and say, and like see that I'm on. Then that was kind of his cue to, like,
Call the guys out. Yeah.
he didn't wait for that cue.
Wow.
He just invited them out. Like, make some noise for my boys, Dilated Peoples. And they came out, they came out, changed wardrobe. Ah, shit, we're about to get it. House of Blues, we're about to fuck this shit up.
LA.
Where's Babu? Where's Babu? I don't know. I just know. I was just that type of. Fuck this shit. I'm gonna take this shit in my own hands. What the fuck? Ban. Just like, oh my god. It must have been going on for a solid 5 minutes. Like, while I was upstairs, and then he cut away to me upstairs with the E-Swift. Oh shit, man! I smoked that shit before, man. You ever smoked that shit? I smoked that shit before, man. Like,
Having enhanced conversations while you're supposed to be doing a show.
but it was a pretty big fail. But
That was a big fail. Damn, that's a big moment too.
I remember that, Babs. That was
oh, you remember?
So what were the repercussions? Was there any backlash?
Well, the
Getting
repercussions
static
was
from-
getting shit from Evan Rock after, but
Yeah.
you know, like shit, I was tight as fuck the next fucking several tours. Shit. And they haven't seen me fuck up since. Man. No, I'm just kidding. No, it really keeps you on your toes. That the biggest thing about fails, guys, it's a bit of
for sure.
It's a bit of
humbling.
little humbling.
Oh yeah, it'll wake you up real quick.
Little wake up
Yeah,
call sometimes
definitely.
if you've been slacking on those basic things that you should be doing to handle your business and handle your job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
It
Yes.
sucks to learn hard lessons, but they're healthy at the end of the day. If
Yes.
you know what I'm saying, it makes you a better DJ.
Totally.
For
Pay
sure.
attention, be mindful, take your time, stuff like that.
There's
Like,
your saying is that there's no such as losing. There's only winning and learning.
There you go, Rhettmatic.
right?
I will say this though: when
nasty.
you do make a mistake, or if there's a fail that happens, don't dwell on it when it's happening. Like, try to get through it as best you can, and then finish whatever your work is, and then whatever the mistake is, dwell on it after the fact. You know what I'm saying?
Then-
Don't dwell on it during, because it's just going to keep getting worse. you know?
Then go beat yourself up later.
Yes,
and,
yes,
away
yes.
from people.
Yeah.
By yourself.
Yes, yes.
I'm just kidding. Don't beat yourself up at all. Okay, guys?
Don't let the random Indian girl take over your DJ booth.
Yeah, don't do that either.
Plugging her phone.
And don't let 3-minute acapella loops play either.
Who's fucking tonight? Who's fucking tonight? Just when you're having a bad day, think of that shit. Think
Yep.
of who's fucking
Yes.
tonight.
Or
And it'll like make you feel better. Think of Rhett.
yes, make sure you know where you're
Stage
landing.
diving into a handicapped
Yes.
young man.
Yes.
God bless you,
Don't get
brother.
too enhanced. Know what the difference between a phone and a line switch, and know which one is on before you start scratching.
Yes.
So it's human to make mistakes, guys.
Yes.
Like we always say, but it's how you pick yourself up and you roll from that mistake, and hopefully it makes you a better DJ.
Yes.
Right? Beat
Absolutely.
Junkies signing off once again. I'm Babu.
Rhettmatic.
Melo-D.
Mr. Choc.
Building better DJs, guys. Remember to check us out at www.beatjunkies.com, www.beatjunkies.tv for our online school for everything about our school in Glendale, beatjunkiesound.com.
That's right.
And you know what? Do us a favor. Want to hear us talk about something? Leave a comment below. We'd love to hear what you guys want us to talk about. Anything that has to do with the art form of DJing, the culture, Beat Junkies. You know what it is. But building better DJs. We'll see you guys next episode.
All right. Forward motion.
Peace.
Get it right.